Okay, today we're going to tear up the old rulebook on success. We're going to dive into a strategy that has nothing to do with aggression or being the loudest person in the room. It's about something far more powerful, the tactical advantage of mercy.
You've heard it a million times, right? To get ahead, you have to be tough, maybe even a little cutthroat. It's survival of the fittest out there. But what if that's all wrong? What if the most powerful move you could ever make isn't aggressive at all?
So on one side, you've got the playbook we all recognize. Be cunning, a little nasty if you have to, definitely aggressive to get what you want. It's all about the short-term win. But then there's this other side, this hidden strategy, niceness, retaliation, and forgiveness. I know, it sounds kind of contradictory, maybe even a little naive, but this isn't about morals. This is the actual blueprint for a seriously effective long-term strategy. So where does an idea this radical even come from? Well, it's not from some philosophy class or a self-help book. It comes from the cold, hard logic of mathematics, from a field called game theory, which is all about how we make decisions. And what the numbers show is that in the long run, being good is actually the smartest way to play.
The strategy is called Tit-for-Tat, and its genius is just how simple it is. The idea is, in any interaction, you don't lead with an attack or suspicion. You start with cooperation, an open hand. And after that, you just do whatever they did to you last. You basically become a perfect mirror.
Let's break it down. Rule number 1, you start nice. You're signaling that you're here to build something, not destroy it. Rule number 2, you are not a pushover. If someone messes with you, you respond right away. You show you can't be exploited. And that leads to the masterstroke. Rule number 3, forgiveness. The second they go back to cooperating, you drop it. You cooperate right back. No grudges, ever. And you really can't argue with the results. In these massive computer simulations, where all sorts of strategies battled it out for thousands of rounds, tit-for-tat always, consistently rose to the top. The purely aggressive strategies, they just burned out. They made too many enemies and ended up destroying their own environment. But tit-for-tat, it built stable relationships, it built trust, and it thrived. Okay, so that's a computer simulation. How does this translate to the messy reality of our actual lives? Well, our lives aren't just a single transaction, right? They're an endless series of these repeated games with the same people, our coworkers, our friends, our family. We tend to think of holding a grudge as a sign of strength. You know, like we're protecting ourselves, drawing a line in the sand. But if you look at it from a purely strategic point of view, it's the absolute opposite. Here's the critical point. A grudge is a dead end. It locks you into one response, forever. You're refusing to ever re-engage, and by doing that, you trap yourself and the other person in this negative loop. You're slamming the door shut on any chance of future cooperation. It is a massive tactical mistake with huge long-term costs. So you've got two clear paths here. When grudges take over, the system, whatever it is, a team, a friendship, it just breaks down. Trust disappears, communication is gone, and in the end, everybody loses. But when simple decency and a willingness to forgive is the default setting, you create stability. And that stability is the foundation where trust and real success can actually be built. And that right there is the engine of this whole strategy. See, decency isn't just about being polite. It's the active ingredient. It's the fuel that allows a company, a team, a relationship to bounce back from conflict and get back to doing something valuable together. This brings us to a really fundamental shift in how we look at power. True strength, it turns out, isn't about your ability to force people to do what you want. It's about the wisdom to navigate the incredibly delicate dance of human interaction. Just think about that for a second. In a world that's obsessed with winning every single little battle, this whole idea suggests that your most powerful tool is your ability to forgive. And why is that? Because forgiveness is the only move that can single-handedly break a negative cycle and hit the reset button, bringing the game back to a place of cooperation. Forgiveness is like the pressure release valve that stops the whole system from seizing up with resentment and endless cycles of payback. It's a conscious choice to prioritize a functioning, productive future over a broken, bitter past. And in the end, that's what ensures long-term survival. So the next time someone tells you to be ruthless to get ahead, just remember the math. Remember that being kind is how you open the door. Retaliation is how you protect your house. But forgiveness, mercy, that's how you make sure there's still a world left to live in tomorrow. This isn't just about being a good person. It's about being a person who lasts.